call the benevolent beings of light, archangels, and ascended masters to guide and inspire us during this forum. Our forum's vision is to bring the understanding, tools, discipline, and support for those seeking to enter the straight and narrow path, the road less traveled, that will lead us along effectively and steadily through the ascension process. Integration of the human experience with our divine origin is moving us full circle to achieve our divine potential. So be it. Aho.
So good evening, everybody. We're going to speak about unity tonight. Not just unity in the world, but unity starting within us. Within our bodies, we have multiple bodies connected by systems that are working from the divine portion of ourself all the way down through the different bodies, the mental body, the emotional body, and the etheric double, which we would call the ghost of ourself, and then the physical. All of these bodies have to work in harmony within us. And these operating systems that are already designed are absolutely perfect, working through the chakra system, and all those wheels of light are spinning from the root chakra all the way up to the crown. The operating systems are within the light bodies, which will help the physical body express itself in either health or not. And when the system is out of sync, the unity is not working properly because of blocks and patterns that we hold on to, we find that the body is, the physical body is expressing in a diseased state. Sometimes it doesn't solidify physically, but it does affect on every other level the way the bodies are operating. The synchronicity and integration is interfered with, not from externally, but internally. If the unity is not in its strength within us, we find it reflecting in our world outside us. The unity of each of our bodies and all of our systems is where the power comes from. It's either diminished or it's expressing in a very high level. What we find when the unity is not in its strength is that we can't really function in our full capacity. The full capacity is reaching the I am presence, and that part of us, that divine part of us, downloads into the physical body fully when it's at its fullest expression. This is reached after many, many attempts to unload the 3D consciousness that we've been dealing with. Okay, we've got to get, somebody's here and they are really, really interrupting with the flow. So let's breathe together for a moment. Somebody is actually psychically interfering with the flow. So let's all breathe together. And let's empty our minds as the prayer asked us to just be still inside. Because as you sit there in a state of complete attention, what happens is you lift me into the highest state that I can reach. The more that we are at one with each other and at peace with each other and focused, you help me to go where I would like to go tonight, to the I am presence expression. Thank you. You're lifting me. Thank you. We need the male energy here to be very focused. That's the grounding. Thank you. Okay. So let's look at ourselves as a multiple vehicle. We have the mental body that is in full command of all of the operations having to do with our mental state, how much information that we gather and we utilize. There is the emotional body, and this is usually way out of proportion to the other bodies. The emotional body is gathering all the emotions that are part of our expression. And the emotions are saved for a very important purpose. The reason that we have not cleared that body in many, at least 4 generations of our coming into bodies, is because we need that in order to release the patterns and beliefs that we've taken on that are blocking the flow of our divine light coming through. Why does this happen? It's on purpose. We know that we need the emotions to release the thought forms and patterns that are blocking the system. Why did this happen that we have blocks? We have blocks because of experiences that we've had in the past that has traumatized us, that has brought in beliefs that are limiting, and that where we have shattered our soul actually into pieces. Some people have traveled, as myself, and picked up those pieces and put them together. Other people do not need to go and gather these back, that we are able to gather the information from other people that we call into our life and we bring to the forefront to show us, to help us, to interact with others so that we can be free. Our emotional body is 3 times the size of our mental body in most cases where I have witnessed during counseling. And that is very appropriate. However, we do need to unload those emotions so that we can become very peaceful and able to channel our own divinity in this lifetime. This lifetime is such a blessing because it's the end of a round of 26,000 years of coming back and expressing ourselves in many different scenarios with many different nationalities, countries. We've learned languages, and sometimes they do come back and you can learn them very easily in this lifetime. And the unity that we have with other people is helping us to do our inner work. Our inner work right now is the most important part of this expression of this lifetime. Why is that? Because as we go through this 26,000 year round, it is time for us to choose whether we want to go further into a higher frequency experience of 5D, or if we wish to repeat the 3D experience and continue in the rounds of life, birth, and death until we are finished learning everything that we want to learn. Most people that are drawn to me are people who have already made their choice. They wrote it into their script before they came in that they are ready to graduate this time. And I have made that choice myself. Unity inside ourself is something that it has to do with balance and harmony. We are seeking to find that balance within ourselves so that everything on the outside will reflect that balance and harmony. When we're out of harmony or balance, we are finding ourselves having a very difficult time with other people, with the circumstances that we actually draw to ourselves in order to experience the understanding of what we have not yet accepted or loved within ourselves. And everybody that we have come into our life, whether it is for a very short time or a one-time experience, will bring us the information that we need. That's what's missing in our experience. When we are out of a unified experience inwardly, the circumstances will be brought to you for you to understand what's wrong, what is out of balance, what in my life is not functioning properly regarding the harmony and balance that is required for the chakra system to be fully operating, for all the bodies that we have working together, that they will synchronize, and the integration of all that brings us the understanding. We are having experiences in the world right now. It's very difficult to be in this type of energy. It's taking its toll on all of us. It helps us to understand that this is temporary, that our bodies are trying to keep up with the spiritual growth that is coming through, and that is causing us to have a bit of a brain fog, as I have seen quite a bit lately. I want you to know that everything is in order. You're all really working very hard, even if you're not consciously aware that you are. And the tough part is that our bodies are really struggling, because this high energy that's coming in is literally lifting every cell, working every cell, molecule, and atom within our physical state. A lot of us have mastered quite a bit in the integration of this energy, and others are finding it very, very difficult and fearful. Don't be afraid. Everything is fine. And this, we've gone through this before. We've done 26,000 rounds before and continued on. There's nothing wrong for those that choose to stay behind. They enjoy the 3D experience of power, money, position, many, many very 3D type of energy, things that they cling to. They are very attached to their belongings, to their jobs, to their positions in life. And that is okay, because if they're not ready to move on, if they're not ready to finish up, then they will start the next round. Can they graduate before that round of 26,000 years? That is a question that is yet to be answered. People are not just having a human experience. So you must realize that we are all very spiritually orientated. Our spirituality is everything. That's why we're here. Our souls are eternal, and they are seeking information so that every aspect of life is actually translated into love. Anything that you don't love, that you feel you still hate, that you see outside yourself or inside yourself, is to be healed. You must consciously look at it and find out why you feel that way, or just be so tired of judging it and hating it that you let it go. How do you let it go? You let it go by deciding that you're done. You don't want to do it anymore. You don't want to feel it anymore. You don't want to see it in your life or have experiences that brings it to you. And as you start working on each item, let's say it is an issue of grief, that for some of us who have lost someone, or our pets, or whatever it is that we've lost, that pain, we try to walk around it, move around it, and not face it and look at what it feels like. Grieving is a very important part of life. We grieve the loss of our pets, our friends, our animals that we came to love with all of our hearts. Our, God forbid, someone even closer, like our parents, when they pass. We're kind of expecting that that would happen eventually, but it still doesn't take away the deep grief that we feel. And of course, we don't even want to go any closer than that, talking about it, because we all know that the pain of losing a child or a spouse is just very harsh. So grief, when we face that grief, I want you to know that people do have a plan, and the reason, and even the animals do, they limit their time here because they're done with what they came to do. Nobody knows when anybody is going to leave. It doesn't mean you have to grow old to leave. You can choose to leave earlier. We usually put into our plan for a lifetime 4 different doorways that we can leave earlier than the full plan. And if you are in a lifetime like this one, I doubt if you would be let out earlier, because it is graduation. This is the exams that we're in, the final stage of our education of this 26,000 year round. And it's time for us to do the best we can. We don't want to leave early. We want to stay. Those that did leave early, don't judge it that they didn't go into the same place we're going to go. Don't judge that they left early as if they didn't make it. They were ready to go, and they will go wherever they had earned that level of frequency, which is a consciousness. We call it the heavenly consciousness or the Christ consciousness. There were those that leave earlier than a full lifetime because they really were ready to go. And sometimes they sacrifice themselves so that the people that they left behind would be able to grow from the experience in the way that they would let go of the grief that they're carrying from other matters that they had not dealt with before. So how does this all relate to the unity? The unity is the bond that we have, all of us have with each other on an outer, looking at it from an outer instead of the inside. The unity that we have with each other, do you think for a moment that it's a mistake that we're all together this evening? Or that we meet up in groups on a regular basis? Or that we meet somebody for the first time and we have this feeling that we know them for a whole lifetime? Do you know that feeling? Think about it for a moment. And other people you meet, you just feel like, I don't want to be around them at all. Where would this come from? Except for that we've been together before with these people. And what the masters taught me was that when you're with somebody or you see somebody or you experience an experience with somebody and you don't feel comfortable with them or you don't like them, that is the very person you want to bless. There may be karmic ties to that person. And under the unity laws, you would want to make peace with that person, even if you never see them again or say anything to them while you're with them. But you clear that karma by blessing them instead of thinking the judgments that we usually do if we don't like somebody. Remember that. Even if you're in a car and you're driving down the road and somebody is very angry because you're driving too slow and they've got to get to work, and they pass you beeping the horn and cut you off and really shake you up a little bit, send a blessing out to that person. They were looking for a blessing and they were hoping that you would remember to give that to them. Most people just get very angry and react. Don't react. Respond. That unity of you bringing yourself to love everybody and everything is how you know that you are lifting up into a more conscious state of living. If you find yourself getting angry in situations like that, or if you're with somebody that's irritating, then it means that that is within you. In order to have full unity with other people, first we have to look inside ourselves. Why do they come into our life? They're not there to be mean. They're there to help you. You've drawn them there magnetically in order to witness yourself. True unity is to love even the unlovable, because once you love it in yourself, that part of you, or let it go, whatever it is, whether it's blocking you from loving, or you just don't like it and you don't want to look at it, change your mind, work it out of yourself. And you're going to find that you will not feel that way if you work on yourself. There's many, many layers to go through. But it will happen naturally. Nothing has to be forced. I'm finding people really taking these courses and trying to do all of these different avenues to heal when life is going to bring you everything you need. Everything right at the perfect moment that your field, that it comes up into your field Anything that you're holding inside will come up into your fields, and then you can let them go. The inner work is so important. The universe is supporting us right now with a tremendous influx of energy that's very high frequency. And it will bring up all of the thought forms and patterns that are layer by layer really coming to the surface for you to release. And with the universe bringing in this higher energy, it's literally helping us to accelerate the healing process. You don't need to do anything special to force it or to make it happen. It will come when it's ready. So what do we do with that stuff? The process that's on the website, it's out there for anybody to take a look at and practice it. It will help you to unify within yourself, all your bodies, because when those blocks are let free and you have a free-flowing channel that you are a channel of divine light. And when you free yourself of all of the blocks by taking every day and living it consciously, watching what's happening around you, how you feel at any moment. And when you are in true unity, you are in your power, because everybody is someone to love. Every experience is not a problem. It becomes an opportunity to bring a remedy. There's nothing that stands between you except your own belief system. You and your higher self are one. In order to express that level of yourself, you need to become a channel of light. What does that mean? What's a channel of light? You release everything that stands in the way consciously. You'll know what stands in the way because things will agitate you. And those are the very things that you look at first. Why do I feel that way? What triggered me to feel that agitation? And once you get a handle on that, that's the very thing you concentrate on and let it go. How do you let it go? You don't talk about it. You can talk about things for the rest of your life and you won't release them. You emotionally face it. You bring yourself to your knees emotionally and not allow yourself to break away from it until you release what you wanted to. Usually when you come through an experience with somebody else, your emotions are flying. That's the very moment you excuse yourself and go off by yourself and take care of it. Don't hold back the tears or the rage. When you hold it back, your body gets very exhausted. It can't stand the fact that it can't express itself. Everything wants to express itself. Every thought, everything, every pattern, everything wants to express itself in life. And when it can't, it makes you ill. It clings to your organs and certain parts of your body and brings so much pain that you can't even get up in the morning. Wherever you have pain, it's an indicator. That's where you're holding some energy blocks. Speak to your body. Say, what is it that I can do to help this unblock? Show me. What is it? that I need to look at. If you truly want to be unified within and experience it in your life, you need to live in a very conscious way. Be mindful of what you feel at every moment, because it's the feeling worlds is where you're going to get a handle on this, not what you think. Because your mind is going to try to convince you it isn't what it is. It's part of the ego system. You are divine beings in a human body, and it won't limit you. It won't. Not if you don't let it. You are the master of the house. You are the divine being. We're very special creations. We have a soul, an eternal soul that comes into life and learns what it does and keeps lifting in frequency until we become returned to that divine being that we started out to be, a divine spark of light. When we gather like this and all these sparks come together, we make quite the light. It can be seen from outer space, you know. When two or more are gathered, that energy is enormous, believe me. When two or more gather and pray, you can change the outcome because the creative power is there and everybody's focusing on the same thing. If we expect to change this world, then please take this to heart, what's being said tonight. It's the most beautiful journey. Yes, it's painful sometimes. Sometimes we face things we don't like about ourselves. And it's not pretty. Or we have an interaction with somebody and we think to ourselves, if that's a reflection of me, I'm not very happy right now with myself. Do you have to name it? No. Sometimes you're just miserable, right? You wake up that way. It's because you are in a layer that is opening up. It's coming to the surface, whatever it is. And whatever you're feeling, be honest with yourself. If you feel sad, have a good cry. If you feel angry, let it out. You can't hold it in anymore. It's lowering the frequency. All of you are very high frequency people. The unity that we're seeking is a very natural and desired condition. You want to be unified inside and out. You feel out of sorts when you're not. You don't like to be with other people if you're not. We can't live in a cave anymore. We need each other too much to see the beauty, to see the grace, the charm, the happiness in another face, to feel the love of another being, be it a pet, a person. We're all seeking love, to love others and to be loved. That's unity. That's your strength. There's nothing stronger in the universe than love. No matter what anybody tells you about the darkness, it lives off of the light. So in order to have unity with other beings and the entire worldly system, to be able to function at your highest levels, work it out of yourself, whatever it is that divides you or divides you from others. This is the grace you give yourself. Nobody else. You don't need anybody else to do this, to let it go. But you need everybody that you call to yourself to work the process, to free yourself, to become the divine being that you are in expression. Unlimited, free, on a level that you can't even fathom right now. None of us can. So let's look at life in the world for a moment. And what's happening in the world is absolutely serving you in the way that whatever your experiences are going to help you to unload whatever the reaction is that you find yourself experiencing. What does that mean? You are not experiencing the same thing somebody is in New York City or in Belgium or in any other city or town or location in the world. Wherever you are, whatever's right in front of you is what you deal with. When you start watching and getting yourself emotionally tied to things that are happening outside of your personal experience, that's when you get pulled in 100 directions and find it very, very painful and uncomfortable. If you're finding yourself very agitated because somebody in another conversation that isn't directly in front of you, and you get tied up into the newscasts that are not even telling the truth, and you get yourself involved in a lot of matters that aren't something that you have any control over because you're not in a position to fix it, that's when it will drive you and aggravate you and cause you a lot of pain, personal pain. God put us each, our own higher self I'm talking about, in a position where whatever position it is, that's the only thing we can control, is what's in our own mind and heart and our life. Anything outside of yourself, we have no control over. But when you understand life, that it's here to help us to find out what's going on inside us, because we're building a world inside ourselves. And do you want to bring that stuff inside you? I don't think so. I don't think so. So by your personal experience, that's the only thing that you really have to address. The rest of it, the world is out there for other people to be having those experiences. As much as it hurts to watch people suffer when they don't have to, or be lied to, even though you know the truth and they don't, we're all operating on our own frequency level. And if they're not at the frequency you are, they don't know what you know. They can't see what you see. And as painful as that is, just bless them and bless everything. Just keep adding blessings to everything you see to raise it up into a higher frequency. I hope that helped you to understand. God bless you.